grab your spatulas, your chef's hat, and then get ready to serve up delicious dishes, or drop them on the floor. That can happen too. We're going to look at 6 different restaurant ideas for The Sims 4, and you will need the Dine Out game pack for access to restaurants. I also need to flag that while I find Dine Out fun, it's also a notoriously buggy pack. Personally, I find restaurants to work okay when they're kept to just one floor and have a really simple layout. When coming up with a restaurant theme, one important thing to keep in mind is whether it'll be profitable. And for this, the most important thing to consider is the menu. Generally speaking though, I would say that it's easier to run restaurants which have pricier dishes on the menu, as you'll be making larger profits per customer. And with that in mind, the first restaurant that we'll look at is a fine dining restaurant. You know, the kind of dining where if you're like me, you leave hungry because the portion sizes are way too small. Anyway, as it's all about fancy, expensive food, you can fill the menu with dishes served on fancy black plates that come with the Dine Out pack. As they're expensive, it'll mean that your restaurant can easily become profitable, and on top of this, serving many of the Dine Out unique dishes also makes it a great restaurant for you to visit as a diner. This is because you can take pictures of these unique dishes to grab prints from the experimental food photos collection, and provided that your sim has at least level 5 of the cooking skill, then they'll learn to make these dishes to then cook them at home too. Another thing to note is that if you have the Get Famous expansion pack, then you can also add the hottest spot in town trait to the lot to turn it into a celebrity VIP restaurant that the stars will frequently visit. And on top of this, it'll make it so that requesting a table at the restaurant costs 50 simoleons. So it adds to the storytelling of it being a super expensive and exclusive restaurant. And this can be furthered even more by making the customer dress code be formal, meaning Sims will dress their best when visiting. Next up is an alien-themed restaurant. You can bring this to life with space prints on the walls, aliens from the Alien collection, or even a live cow plant in the middle of the floor, because why not? Plus, this is one of those themes where giving your staff members some really strange fancy dress costumes goes a long way in adding to the setting. When it comes to the menu, this is a surprisingly easy theme to cater to, with drinks like alien juice and space energy, and food like glacier-infused iceberg lettuce, free-range 6am pit beast, jungle moss egg, and space tacos. I mean, the taco is blue, what more can you ask for? Plus, many of these menu items can both have experimental food photos taken of them, and on top of this, as they're quite pricey, this restaurant theme is super profitable. While not essential, you could even pop a rocket ship on this kind of restaurant lot, as I feel like having access to one somewhere within your world is super helpful, seeing as how expensive, large, and time-consuming they are to make on your own lot. The third idea is creating a seafood restaurant, and this is very doable thanks to the many seafood menu options. Most notably, if you have the City Living expansion pack, then you might want to add pufferfish nigiri to the menu, which can really add that pop of drama to your restaurant, because if someone orders it, then you'll get to have that will they or won't they die from eating this moment. Of course, expensive menu items like lobster thermidor or lobster tortellini work well, and the artisan fish trio from Dine Out adds in another fancy option. When it comes to drinks, both Sea Splash and Sea of Fire tie in well with the theme, and yes, I'm just saying that because they have sea in their names. Then for dessert, you can kind of put whatever you want. Go wild. Or don't, that's okay too. A seafood restaurant works great in worlds like Sulani or Tartosa, where you can easily build nearby the water. And also know that I've popped the seafood restaurant shown in this video onto the gallery, so feel free to make use of it if you want to. And yes, it has a hot tub, because why not? Moving on to look at making a brunch cafe or restaurant. Now, I do think this is great to have in your world, as oftentimes restaurants are more focused on lunch and dinner, and we love a morning option. There's definitely no shortage of dishes to pop on the menu here, with various coffees, breads, bagels, pancakes, omelets, and more. Plus, you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to desserts. The only downside of running a brunch-themed restaurant is that it's a challenge to keep it profitable, seeing as a lot of the menu items are priced on the cheaper side. A couple of dishes like omelets and buttered crumpets do help to make some decent money, but you might have to really manage your staff to keep costs down. And by that, I mean that that when your chefs become too capable and they want to raise, you might actually have to get a new, inexperienced chef, because otherwise your restaurant will start losing money. Long term though, you can slowly make the cost of what you sell be more profitable by purchasing the Tidy Tippers perk a good amount of times, and this then makes a brunch themed restaurant much more viable. One final consideration is setting the customer dress code to athletic, meaning that Sims will show up in more casual outfits looking like they've just come from a run. The fifth idea is to create a vegetarian restaurant. Aesthetically, I went for a kind of brick industrial feel with lots of plants added to the space, but of course when it comes to the look and feel of this type of restaurant, you can take it in pretty much any direction that you want. What's important though is the menu. Thankfully, hovering over dish names will see the game tell you if it's vegetarian safe, and there's actually heaps of fancy dish options that are vegetarian friendly, from faux bacon wrapped asparagus to bamboo rolls, honeycomb garden vegetable cups, and more. Plus, you have almost complete freedom with the drinks and desserts. A lot of these fancier vegetarian dishes are relatively pricey too, meaning that you shouldn't have too much trouble keeping this type of restaurant profitable. And now the final idea is to create a Japanese restaurant. Know that having the City Living and Snowy Escape expansion packs will really help to bring this to life and give you more decor and food options. Personally, I love Japanese cuisine, so that made this feel really cool. Though I need to point out that sadly the nigiri served on boards and some of the sushi rolls seem to be a little bit bugged, and despite being on the menu, they were never served. Even when I took everything else off of the menu, Sims just started only ordering drinks. Again, you can cause chaos here with pufferfish nigiri if you have the City Living expansion pack, but also you can sell other types of sushi, various ramens, and even some appetizers like edamame. Dine Out also has some fancy dishes like a bamboo roll and a cubed ahi with wasabi, which feels Japanese. They might not be, but I saw wasabi and I just went for it. The theme also lends itself to a really warm and cozy vibe, although I think that a sleek, earthy look could work quite well for a Japanese restaurant too. And thematically, this ties in so well with the world of Mount Komorebi. One thing I will flag is that similar to the Brunch Restaurant, not all of the menu items sell for a lot, and so purchasing the Tidy Tippers perk a handful of times will really help in making this style of restaurant profitable. That's a look at 6 different types of restaurants that you can consider running in The Sims 4. If you enjoyed the video, then you can also check out my other videos showcasing various ideas for other parts of the game. Also, I hope you have an amazing day. See you later!